All right. I haven't got my life together. Let's see. Can you give me that green pen and that thing? Give me the green and the red. So what I want to do is yeah. What I want to do is show you what I have so far and like talk through it and get your feedback and stuff. Okay. All right. I need to do that. Understanding by design. Ooh, I know what I wanted to do too. Where's my little pad? Give me what did I do with that thing? Is that pink sticky pad over there? Hey, Professor Black Ops. How you doing? Yeah, that'll work. Actually, everything is already on here. This is all that was over there. I cleaned off the pink one just so I can use it, and I totally forgot about it. Okay. Here we go. Use this one. All right. Okay, you ready? So if anybody on here is studying for the CAP as well, you can come up if you want. 837 for the RMF. Yes, the risk management framework. That's what we're talking about. Black Scorpion Fitness. Hey, you take the CYSA Monday? All right. Good luck. Good luck. I know you're going to do well. And some stuff we talk about today is actually going to be useful for the CYSA too. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Can you come over here so you can see it? All right. So I'm calling these study projects. Okay. Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna share the screen so y'all can see what we're looking at too. Okay. Oh, why's it doing that? It did that last time. I just put this thing up and it wasn't doing that. The hell? No, man. Okay. It's little though. That's better. All right. Okay. So. Okay, so this is the framework, which is the exact same thing as the CAP, except the CAP doesn't call it prepare, it calls it something else. I don't know what the hell, but it's the same thing. Actually, this is better. This is what they should have used in the course, which they didn't. Okay. What is that? Oh, is that my mouth?
Screen capture.
Oh, oh my goodness. All right. So the way that I understand risk, okay, from reading the other books on enterprise risk management, I took that. The question a guy asked was, why do cars have brakes? Okay. And of course, my first thought is so they can stop, right? But that was not the answer. What he said was so they can go faster. All right, so then I thought about that because with enterprise risk management, what he was saying was without brakes on a car, you would have to crawl along to be sure you didn't hit anything or anybody, or you know what I'm saying? But with brakes on the car, you can go, as fast as, is safely possible because you can stop right away. You can, use the brakes to help you turn or whatever, right? You know all about that. So, Oh, 15 years. Okay, professor, don't go nowhere here because I'm going to have to ask you some questions. Okay.
We need to put something like that.
Seriously, don't go anywhere. You might have to come up here on this screen at some point. All right. So, okay. So that's how I thought. Okay, so this is how I'm going to think about risk, as that's what it is. Risk in the organization, wherever it is so that we can go faster as an organization. Okay, whether that's regarding IT or any other areas that have to do with risk.
Okay.
You can do all it because I know you like to mess on your phone and all that when you're talking. So it's fine. Here we go. That's a break. RMF as breaks. You see that? Okay. All right. So that's where I'm coming from. I tried. Yeah, it looks like a wheel, right? Doesn't it like a wheel with the break thing in the middle? I thought it was kind of clever. Okay. Now this is where I got it from. Fundamentals of Enterprise Risk Management, because enterprise risk management is how I first came into the risk game. Okay. And I love this whole thing. This book is amazing. If y'all haven't read this book, go get that book. Okay. It's really good. Now, you know that I love working with Legos. Okay. I do Lego serious play for a lot of my work. So I went to the Lego company's enterprise risk management page. Okay. So this is what ERM looks like. You see IT security is at the bottom, right? But enterprise risk management is about everybody in the organization practicing good risk management. Okay.
Does that mean that it's the foundation? Because it's at the bottom.
No.
It's not kind of hold everything.
No, it's not the foundation.
Okay.
I would think that's strategic. Because for enterprise risk management, at least in the federal government agencies have to do a risk assessment on their strategic goals. Okay. Which makes all the sense in the world because some of them goals are trash. Okay. Yeah. So that shows me, okay, RMF would fit in the Lego organization, like around here. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know if you're thinking something else. Okay. This is from the management view. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I love this picture.
I like that picture.
So here, what I understood from what I've already studied is that risk is not about eliminating, or risk management is not about eliminating risk. Because I actually read that somewhere. Somebody was talking about the RMF and saying, it's to, eliminate the risk in this area or whatever, which you can't do. You can never eliminate risk. Okay, not as long as you have a goal. You never eliminate risk. Which is why I like this picture with the dollar sign, right? Because what we don't talk about here is it's risk in the, what do you call it? In pursuit of reward, right? You're trying to get something. That's why there's risk there, because you're trying to get from here to there, okay? And there's risk in between here and there. All right, so I'm talking about the ROI, the return on investment, yes. And I'm talking about the reducing the amount of risk as much as possible, to help you get to the reward. Like in this picture, at the bottom picture, ain't nobody doing that because the risk is too much for the reward, Yeah. Whereas, the second one is ideal, low probability, low impact, right? So that's going to come up in some other places, but I just put these pictures here to wrap my mind around its risk in pursuit of reward. Okay. Okay, whatever that is.
Well, the second one, the third one is likely too, but
if you fall.
Oh yeah, you're done.
Yes, that's the thing.
It's a long way down. It's slim.
Right. So that may be acceptable to some people, but some it may not be. It's like you got to reduce that a little bit more now.
There are companies that like. I heard a CEO, I think it was the CEO of Raytheon, he said the greater the risk, the better he's down for. Because too, he knows that on the other side, that return on investment is going to be greater than anything that's safe. So to each his
If
own.
you get to the other side.
If you get
That's
to
the
the
thing.
other side.
All right. Now I did all this last night. Okay, just trying to put this stuff together. And I'm not done yet. So now in class, we started with prepare. And then we went down the thing to categorize system, select control. I don't want to do that because that's not how I see it. Okay, so
I think prepare is the new.
It is.
Yeah,
it's the most recent. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get to it, but I want to start with controls because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 areas on this thing that talk about controls. So I'm like, okay, what the hell is a control? Why is it so important? It's on here 4 times. All right. So I thought, let me start there to find out what, and the next place is going to be the other 2 systems. So let's talk about controls and then let's talk about system and then we'll get to the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's my rationale. Oh, hey, keep it techie. How are you? He said, keep it techie in the house. Okay. All right. So controls. Now, you remember these people? You remember them? Game of Thrones, dude.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't remember them.
So you know
3 people.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know they're making a prequel to Game of Thrones.
I heard that.
Yes. So control, now this is how it's defined in the RMF. Okay. Which is like, how you gonna define a word with a word? Management, operational, and technical control. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, prescribed, to protect CIA. All right. Now I put this picture here because you know that they are the ones, like, a whole, like they were, I think the humans came along, right? And were like wreaking havoc in the forest and all that. So they're the ones who created the original, Night King. They made the Night King to get rid of the humans, right? They had to put a control in place, right? To get these ninjas under control, right? So that's why I put that picture there.
Okay.
Because I like, Game of Thrones until the last episode, but but I don't like that definition. I'm like, that's not doing it for me because you can't define a word with a word. So I made something myself. Okay. Now, control, this is how I define it. And I put together like 2 definitions. Okay. Any constraint placed in a system to guide or impose a certain behavior. Now, typically we might think of control is to stop something, but that's not necessarily true. It may just be it could be for the opposite, to give something more freedom. Right. You put a control in place, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I didn't want to say to restrict whatever, to stop hackers or, whatever. But a control, because when you think about it from a design perspective, like the way we design training, we put controls in there to help do this, to help guide a certain behavior, that without the control, they probably wouldn't do. It's possible that they would, but they probably wouldn't. Okay. Like exercises or something, or I don't know, other kinds of challenges. To get them to use certain skills, you put a control there to guide that behavior. So that's how I see it. Now, if y'all see something different, or you feel like, it can be defined better, or anything I'm saying here, then just let me know, okay?
I think the way they use it is more like a safeguard, like you said before. And they're probably thinking you actually want to stop something from occurring, whereas there are multiple meanings to that.
However, a honeypot is a control. That's not stopping, that's inviting. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And then now we get to see what they're doing so that we can, I guess, implement other controls.
We're trying to encourage a certain behavior. So we put a honeypot there, Okay. But the same thing with a firewall. We're also trying to, now that's where we're imposing something on the system. Okay. Yeah. But I think it can go either way, depending on what, so I didn't want to restrict it to stop something, because that may not be the case. Especially now, like we were talking about earlier, in the new NIST control document, I don't know the number. I gotta get these numbers down because this shit is not looking good when it comes to the number. But I don't know, the one that talks about controls.
Controls.
Yeah, whichever one
I
talks
think
about
that's,
that.
you got Google right there, but I think it's
I do.
853. The list controls. They don't
Okay, so
really
this,
select.
yeah. Here it is. No, that's 53A.
Okay.
Here you go. Yeah, you're right. SP,
800.
what the hell?
Yeah.
SP 800-53 and FIPS 200. Here you go, right
So
here.
those are the standard or recommended controls for the different families and so forth.
All right, so that's the control. Now we got the different kinds.
Like in the front.
Management control. So this is, now decision making was not in the book. It wasn't in the, but that's what it is. It's leadership. Decision making is a form of controls because it's their decisions that go into policies.
Right.
And
even Professor Blackout, he said that it's from the management point of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense to me.
Yep. And this is what was in the book: planning and assessment and pen tests, right? As a management control. But you're making the decisions. You're the the guy sitting in the throne. All right.
So planning and assessment. Why isn't it just pen testing?
That was just an example of an assessment. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, other stuff like that, because they got to pay the money to do it, I guess.
Yeah, but that's have to define the scope.
Yeah.
What you will do, what you will not do. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
You can't just have a pen tester go and have it. I mean, you got to document the rules, the rules of engagement.
I should put that, right? Like budget decisions or something.
All of that. And there may be even legislation. A lot of companies have to do this.
Like compliance?
Yeah, we have to do this stuff on a regular now.
Professor Blackout says compliance, he says, in the federal government.
He said NIST 853.
Yep, there you go.
That's what's up.
All right. Technical control.
Okay.
That's the white wall, right?
I'm about to get my game.
I know, right? So technical controls use technology to put constraints. Use technology to put constraints. So encryption, firewalls. Zero trust architecture. I added that.
Okay.
And zero knowledge architecture. So y'all, we talked about zero trust architecture and zero knowledge architecture yesterday because I found some stuff that I was looking for. Right. I'd never heard of zero knowledge architecture. I'm like, what the hell is that? So, what the hell is it? like what?
Well, we got our Google on and started learning.
No, let me try to remember what it was. Okay, so zero trust is I just don't trust y'all. Period. Okay. Inside and outside the organization. So we're going to use technology to do authentication and all that. Okay, so I don't have to trust you. Okay, I trust the technology. Basically, I think. Zero knowledge architecture is from blockchain and is about me letting you know that I am who I am without telling you who I am. Something like that.
Yeah, that was basically what you said. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, how do you prove who you are?
Without giving you details. Right.
Yeah, without the details.
Because you don't need that.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that becomes like an invasion of privacy.
And you said, how did you say your bank? Well, no, it wasn't your bank.
Oh, when someone tried to hack into my Facebook account.
Your Facebook.
And we're in Virginia, and that person tried to access it from Georgia. And thank goodness for multi-factor authentication as well. But Facebook actually caught it before. Actually, I'm sorry. They caught it before I established multi-factor authentication on Facebook because I hardly ever use that. I'm using Facebook now for business purposes, but I wasn't really interested in being social like that. But I'm glad that they caught it because that was behavior that wasn't recognized.
And what did they ask you though?
They asked, did I try to access my account? Is this me? And I said no. And
that's it.
That was it.
They didn't say, where are you?
No, but they did send me an email showing me that someone tried to access it in the state of Georgia. And I was like, one up for Facebook.
And that's another thing too with zero knowledge is that it also uses technology, like tracking not tracking, some kind of way it uses technology to help to verify or to authenticate. Not geolocation, it was something else it said. I don't know. Okay. But y'all, if you haven't heard of Zero Knowledge, that was really interesting because I hadn't.
I'm glad they did that because I was new to Facebook and I did not have multi-factor authentication. So they have additional controls to help protect us.
That's good. Operational controls are controls implemented by people, where technical is by, software. So this is like the guard at the gate, the people providing security awareness training. Okay, the change management processes that we have in place with when we change technology, we have to go through that whole thing, all that. So this is where the people come in, right? So we got the management, which is the decisions. We got the technology, which is the technical, and we got the people, which is the operational. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know the difference between technical and operational before I started doing this stuff.
Well, from my Leo days, we did all that. So it's like second nature.
Yep. I felt so bad for him when his girlfriend got killed. That's terrible.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
I don't know, man.
But anyway, risk management.
So something I want to put in here is an epiphany minute, where I talk about something interesting that I found while I was creating the course or studying or whatever. So what I found interesting is that techniques, right, is means or technology of or pertaining to art. Technology is of or pertaining to art. Okay. And art is technique or skill method. Isn't that something? Technology and art are like the same damn thing. I thought that was amazing. Like, oh my goodness, that is so awesome.
Interesting. Technique and art makes me think of martial arts.
Yes.
Because,
absolutely.
Because
it's both.
You need technique to take someone down a certain size, big, small, or what have you.
And that's the thing, right? Technology is not just digital shit, okay? This white wall, that's technology.
Like natural technology.
It's technology. These sticky pads, this is technology too. It's not just digital. Yeah, man. It's not just digital stuff. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
That's an interesting picture you got there.
I know it's like a mesh between technology and art.
I didn't know if that was
it's actually boxing.
Battery or IED or computer, whatever it was. It's crazy.
All right. Next is system. Now, in my class, y'all, money is not infinite, so you have to give management the best bang for the buck and give risk for their choices. Yeah. Which means you have to be like an artist. You have to be creative, right? Because a lot of people hollering about we don't have enough money in the organization or whatever. And so does that mean you can't do nothing? So yeah, creativity absolutely comes into play here. So system, that's the next one. Now, I told you I was super frustrated with my training. Now, y'all, yes, it is shade. I'm shading the hell out of this organization. I got my boot camp training at InfoSec Institute. Okay. I got a discount because my job paid for it and my job sends a lot of people there. My discount was $2,200. Without the discount, you got to come out the pocket like another $1,000 for somebody to 3 days straight read slides to you. Okay. Now this dude was knowledgeable as hell. I mean, he was so knowledgeable, it was ridiculous. But the training was garbage. It just was. Okay. So now in that, one of my main questions was, what is a system? Because he started talking about the system right out the gate. Okay. So I was like, can you give us a definition of what you mean when you say that? And he was like, oh, I'll get to that tomorrow. That was, I mean, babe, he mentioned system like 100 times. And then was like, I'll get to that.
you were messing up his design.
Apparently, it's non-design. I was trying to throw some design in there. He's like, Anyway, so what is a system? Now, I define system from my evaluation work as, well, how do I define it? You know what, let me put that in here. So I didn't add it here. So a system is, you remember how I define it?
Vaguely.
A collection of entities seen by someone that adds perspective, okay, as working together to produce something.
It's like you say, yeah, I avoid boot camps. It's like drinking from a fire hose. That is so true.
It's too much information, man.
I went to an A+, Network Plus, Security Plus boot camp and didn't take the test for years later. In fact, I earned other advanced certifications before I actually went back and got those. There's too much information.
It's crazy.
And now I teach it totally different.
I think I may have this somewhere, but let me look up.
Definition of system.
Look up information system.
Collection of entities seen by someone
And this
working
definition.
together to produce something. Is that it or is there more?
Okay, this is the NIST definition.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it up here.
Yeah, copy that.
So the first one is the epiphany definition, the Cheryl definition. This is NIST.
A set of resources organized for the collection, processing, maintenance, use, sharing, dissemination, or disposition of information.
Now this is actually an information system.
Okay. A discrete set of resources. Okay.
Now remember, when we were trying to find out what components make up an information system, let me see if I can do that here. Oh wait, hold on a second now. Do they have a definition of system too? No, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So what's in a system?
People, processes, technology, whatever you say, epiphany.
What the hell? I'm trying to see what they say.
Wasn't it like 4 or 5 things?
It was, and they mentioned it.
Your notes someplace.
That's why I'm doing the slide.
Okay. I don't recall.
So something I'm gonna have to so I saw one thing last night that said an information system is basically 2 main components, hardware and software, pretty much. You know, but I mean it is, except for the people, which is wetware. Right? People are wetware. Did y'all know that? So it was hardware, software. What the hell was the other thing? Data.
Oh, yeah.
Data / information. Policy, procedures and processes.
Got people in there?
Gotcha, right here.
Okay.
And people. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more. What are we missing? No, it's 5. That's 5.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, procedures. Yeah. Okay. Now.
So these are these responses on practice test questions for the CAP?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to go through the whole thing because, to tell you the truth, even though I want to pass the exam, I'm doing this more to understand what the hell this is and how it applies to all those CompTIA certs. That's really what I'm looking for, to see the relationship between where all that stuff fits in.
Okay.
I got to show you this networking website I found. It is amazing. I'm telling you.
All right.
Oh my God, it is so good. I'm gonna show you.
So are you gonna do poems or any a practice run of a
You know what?
organization?
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because what I need to do here, and y'all let me know if you have any ideas, okay? Where is it? What I want to do is control's the first thing I talk about. Yeah.
Yes.
So after control, like after each of these things, I want to go ahead and do a project, like a control project, okay? Whatever that is.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. So then you can look up examples on the 853 as to how it applies to say access control or something.
I want to do something. Like either get into Linux and put some kind of control in place or a command prompt, actually implement a control, you know what I mean? To see what it looks like. Oh, you know what?
Okay.
We can do the VPN exercise because you can see, I forget what the command is, but you can see what your computer looks like without the VPN, and then you put it on, and then you go back in and do that same thing, and it'll show you that the VPN is there. Okay. Or we can do some firewall stuff and try to get somewhere before we put the control in place and then after. You know what I'm saying?
Test or something?
Not a penetration, just like a simple exercise of what a control looks and feels like.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Should probably look at the different controls.
Oh yeah.
Select from there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
What did I say?
Control project.
I said some examples were firewall, VPN, and whatever else.
And whatever other controls we look
up. Yeah. But okay, so it's got to be
there's a bunch
something.
of different families, so we can probably select something from there.
But the thing is, though, a control is a constraint that guides behavior. So we need to experience that. Right. We need to experience being guided by the control that we put. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I got it. Okay. All right, now system over here. Okay, now this is the Federal Enterprise Architecture Reference Model. This is where they get the types of systems from. Is this one right? I think it's this one right here. Management of no. It starts right here. All right, and I have the link here so I can look more into it, but let me see right here. What is this? This is the software, not software. SLDC, not software. System development life cycle. Yeah. Now, why did I put this here? I put this here for some reason.
I don't know.
Let me look. I pulled it up over here.
Services for citizens, delivery, support, delivering services.
Because they talk about this in the website, the RMF stuff. What did you say, Professor Blackout? Look up the CIS technical implementation control. Will roll back up the NIST family of controls. CIS technical implementation control. Okay, I'll look that up. Here it is, the BRM, the business reference model. Mission, sector, business, function, and service. This is where they get the this is a better one.
Security reference model.
Part of the federal enterprise architecture. So this was interesting, right? This was very interesting. Why can't I grab
What do they call that?
Ooh, blurry, I don't know what.
Use the other one underneath it.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to get a better picture.
Yeah, look at that thing he said.
Oh wait, this one is clearer. Maybe it'll let me.
Much clearer.
It'll let me do that. Ooh, that is much better. Much better. All right, I have to crop it, but all right. CIS technical implementation control. What is that?
Practical guidance for implementing the critical security control. Oh, okay. When I went to SANS, they talked about the 20 CIS controls. You know of these things, but I don't use them every day.
It's a 501c3 organization.
Center for Internet Security.
Oh, the benchmarks. That's the hardening stuff that Gaston was talking about. They have a whole website for hardening your system. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, security.
I can't.
Yeah, look that up.
Center for Internet Security. This is the website I think Gaston showed us.
Okay.
Robotic operating system. Have you heard of that? I've never heard of that.
Excuse me.
Cyber Avengers protecting hospitals.
That just came out yesterday.
Okay, this is cool. Thanks, Professor Blackops. Got you. Okay, so this is where the names, the types of systems come from, right? So this is what's in the book.
Information. Programs information. Okay.
That's what I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Now, let me show you that networking site, that network.
Skills.
I don't know what the hell happened. I was like, where'd you all go? All right. What was I saying? Oh, you want to see if there's other stuff on here?
I was just curious.
I'm sure there. Okay, home. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it was taking me to. You got all this stuff.
Okay.
Linux systems. Oh, keep it techie. They got Linux systems on here. What they talking about with this? Red Hat Enterprise and Fedora. Embedded, secure.
Linux security. Yes.
Moving to
PDF hacks. All right. All right. etutorials.org is a shout out.
Okay. So something I was reading in the networking stuff was
certification.
Was what we were talking about.
Okay, go back. What were you saying? Finish.
You know how we were talking about
That's a cap.
like I was asking about where's all the love for the blue team? We got all this red team, pen testing, ethical hacking, CPFs, hackathons, all this other kind of stuff. Where is the love for the blue team? Is what I wanted to know. The blue team.
I know what do you mean? Where's the love? Like,
where's the love? Where's all the high level certifications, all the talk, all the athons? Where's the blue team athon? What is?
I think they're out there.
What are you?
They do a little bit of both in hackathon.
No, but I mean, it's very clear that red team is like, blue team is like the stepchild or something. What's up with that? What do y'all? I mean, that's what I see. I see like y'all. I mean,
content developers, but they do a little bit of both. But you have to find those specific types of hackathons, if you will.
Well, that's my point. My point is you don't have to work that hard to find penetration testing or ethical hacking. You got to work hard at all.
I never had a problem personally.
But if I want to find, like, what do you even call blue team stuff? Just like, what is that? What kind of testing is blue team?
CTF is the generic term that they use. Hackathon is also very generic. Hackathon sounds like red team, but in reality is not always red team. Still a CTF.
I'm just saying.
Well, what do you want to learn?
I'm advocating for the underdog.
The underdog, the blue team?
That's what it seems like.
Okay.
Blue ain't getting no love. Keep it techie. I'm not a cybersecurity guy. That's a Professor Black Ops question. Professor, can you help us out? All right.
Bye.
The first two business areas, services for citizens. Oh, okay. Services for citizens, mission-based information type. So that's a type of system.
Mm-hmm.
So the system is based on the information in it.
PowerPoint.
I know, I just put it on here. I know it's bothering you, right? You can't stand it.
I can't understand.
So the next kind of system. Yeah, so the system is based on the kind of information you got in there, all right?
Okay.
And there's also this. Under here, there's general information type system, a general information system. Okay, which seems like a catch-all or something, I don't know. Government resource management information. Okay, the BRM. This is what it told me to go to, which is this, the business reference model. That's where they get that stuff from. See, mission sector, business sector, function, service. Classification is the system type. Yep. You have to understand red team to handle blue team functions. What? Do you have to understand blue team to handle red team functions? Keep it techie. Can that be turned around?
We have this conversation, keep it techie all the time. She just be hating on everything.
I'm not hating. I'm just trying to figure out, can we say that the other way? Is it necessary for red team to know the blue team functions for them to be good at what they do? The way it is for blue team to need to know red team stuff.
So blue team defense, and of course red team offense, and then you have purple team, right? A little blend of the two. But sometimes they work together, other times they don't. Depends on what you do. But generically, the old school way is, you learn how to be the bad guy, so you can apply good guy principles to stop the bad guy.
I got questions about
we're
that.
still playing catch up on that.
You're gonna keep playing catch up if you got to learn to be like the bad guy.
Right.
That means the bad guy got to do some shit, and then you got to learn it. You're gonna always be playing catch up.
Well, that's usually what happens. It's unfortunate. They investigate stuff, and then they go, "Wow, look at what happened," and how do we defend against that now? Even at work the other day, we were talking about, man, we think the bad guys get a little bit better because we're not seeing stuff, and we don't think that we're doing. We think we're doing a great job, but we're like, wait a minute,
we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Better.
We're focusing on the wrong thing.
Technology is always going to allow that to always.
It's about our tunnel vision and where we're putting our attention.
Okay, I don't want to argue on that.
It's not an argument. I'm just saying.
I know.
I got my ideas.
It feels like one. Just trying to figure out what am I saying wrong. My bad. I'm sorry. I said anything.
Nah, man, you good. Okay. All right.
Why is that one?
They're right there. These are really good. I made some strawberry cupcakes. What'd you say? Keep it techie. You have to understand a hack to prevent. Keep it techie. I don't know if that's true. I really don't. I don't know if that is true.
Man, keep it techie.
I have my ideas.
I have been down this road with her.
But look at what he said. You see, even you see it. The bad guys are always ahead.
That's true. And
that cannot be the case.
It cannot, but it is.
But it should not. We have too many smart people in the cyber profession for us to be chasing some folks. That's like you see a girl that you want, and you just keep chasing her. Okay, because you're never gonna get her. You're never gonna get her. What? They could be. All right. That's good. That's another video, y'all.
This tells you how to harden the system. And this keeps up with all the new technology.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm. Well, they work with who is it? In the NSA? NSA, but for the risk management thing, I think their partnership is with NSA.
Got it.
All right. Someone's gonna be on this slide, but I don't know. Now I found this. I gotta look more into it. The other day I was wondering what the hell is memory? Where is it? Mm-hmm. Like what is it used for? All that. Mm-hmm. So when I was looking for that, I found this. I've never seen this before.
Pretty good.
I didn't know there was a hierarchy of memory. Mm-hmm. And I don't fully understand what the hell this is saying. Power off, power on, immediate turn. I don't know what all that stuff is.
RAM versus ROM.
I need to do some kind of activity so I can understand what this means.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. I'll have to find.
Do like some forensics or something.
Something.
Because you want to go after certain items before you go after other items if you're doing forensics.
You know what I did though? When you first started teaching me Linux, mm-hmm. I did the shredding. I shredded something in Linux, mm-hmm. Shredded a document.
I remember that.
Which I thought was so awesome. Mm-hmm. I don't think that works anymore because people could still put that shit together or something. That was like something they did back in the day, but that was really cool.
I remember you told me that. I never did that before. It was like fun. Do anything like that. Mm-hmm. People would probably tell you, what is it? A lot of so-called good people play in the gray area as well. True.
Memory ages out with data. What does that mean? It ages out with data. Ages out. I don't know what that means. Keep it techie. What kind of Linux exercise can I do to help me understand what memory is? Is there something I can do in Linux for that? I saw another one that had the RAM and the ROM, and see this has USB in it. I don't know. There are other diagrams. Maybe I can find out a better diagram too. All right, here we go. Now we're getting to it. So that would be like the executive summary. We're going to quickly go over what are controls, because you see that here, you know, in the phases, most of them have to do with controls. And then the last two are system, have to do with the system. So I don't know why I have that red circle right there.
One too many.
Mm-hmm. Well, I cut and paste it. Not cut and paste it. Yeah. Okay, so this is a prepare. So now we start with the step 1, step 2, and all that. Oh, look, Professor Blackout teaches forensics at a local college. Dude. Okay.
So I've done some forensics here and there. You know, it wasn't like the thing that I was really into.
I think I want to be into it. Professor Black Ops, I watched Forensic Files for like 3 months straight, like nothing else. I watched all of the things. I really do like that stuff. So I'm gonna look into, right now I do policy, but I want to look into forensics more seriously. And then I had someone up on the stream the other day. He did forensics, and he really enjoys it. And I think it's something I would enjoy. I saw that gnat that you were trying to hit.
No, you didn't. You thought I was crazy.
I did. You be a little paranoid.
Whatever.
Swatting at things that's not there.
Anyway, yeah, forensics. You know, it's definitely a reputable skill. I've done it in school because I had to do it to earn the degree or whatever, but I didn't do it enough to like fall in love with it. But I know this: anything you do on that computer, you can find it.
Yeah, I think women are really good at that because we find some shit when we want to find some shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide nothing. I'm just saying. Ivy Tech Community College in Indiana. Oh, you're in Indiana? Okay, prepare. So what I use for this is, let me show y'all what I'm using, not that. This website right here is fire. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm not even sharing anymore. Ciao. Y'all, I had the wrong date, wrong time, wrong everything up there.
Stop it and then share it again. Share it again. I have to get too fast with the buttons.
It ain't me.
You like this?
Okay. Oh, this isn't the site. That's not the one. This is the other one I was looking at. What a site that I was
I don't even know what you're talking about. You said it's fire. I know that.
Oh, here you go. Right, not this one, not this one, not this one. I don't want this. What I want to show you is this one. Here we go.
Okay.
So this is the website I'm using for my notes and, well, one of the websites. Did I get it? One of the websites, okay?
They say if you study this one here, you should do well on the exam.
That's what the lady told me. She said, don't go to that boot camp. She said, go right there to this website and do that, and you'll be better off.
Yeah, we need to do this, like from the beginning to the end. Maybe even, I don't even know if you have to get the tool or whatever. But.
So this is what I'm using, okay? So I'm going through each of these links.
Okay.
Why they ain't got, what's up here? I'm putting that aside off.
Well, that's probably better than some next step.
Yeah. So the stuff you see from here on will be from here, okay?
Okay.
So I got this from. All right, let's get back over here.
I want to look at that some more.
Yeah. It's really good stuff. It's very interesting. Okay, so the purpose for the prepare is ready, set, go. Right. All right, you just got all your ducks in a row. You tell people what's going on, you know, so you can get ready to do it. Okay, and some interesting terms that I saw in prepare were profile. And I was like, why are you talking about the cybersecurity framework here? So I'm gonna have to go back and look at what that's about. Common controls, I know what that is. That's about using the same control for various things, like for various systems. So you won't have a security guard for each individual system in the organization. You just got the guard at the door and he's covering, you know, like that. Authorization boundary. Now, was it last one of these nights You said look at the htop command, also the proc mem file to get information on the amount of memory stored.
Yeah, I'm done.
How do I create memory? I want to do that. I want to make memory. Do I got to be a computer scientist to do that?
I'm gonna say yes, but otherwise you can type stuff.
I want to create space, memory space. I want to put something in it. Can I do that?
Your questions are so good sometimes. I just gotta look at it.
That would be a good hands-on thing, don't you think?
I think that would be a good hands-on thing.
To see how much memory is there, but that's not letting me know what memory is. I want to see how it's formed, and then I want to use it.
Data input into the system, stored on the hard drive.
No. I'm talking about the space.
Yeah, the disks and all that stuff.
So when
that stuff.
When the video we watched a while ago, it was a professor. He was talking. It was a computer science class, yes, but he was talking about what buffer overflow was. And that kind of got me to understanding better what memory is.
So you can create swap space.
What is that?
Ooh,
What is swap space? It sounds like space you can swap with another space. All right, let me get through. I'm going to look at it in a second. All right, so authorization boundary. The scope of protection for information systems. This is called something, but I cannot remember. It's the terrain. It's like the cybersecurity terrain or something like that, right? Which is what you're identifying your terrain. Just like if you were in a regular war or something, you got to see what kind of terrain you're on. You know what I'm saying? So you know how to respond, how to, It's like your threat. What is that? Your threat landscape. Is that what it is? Threat landscape?
That's an actual term.
Authorization boundary and threat landscape. Is that the same thing though? Because I don't know. It seems like your threat landscape would be within your authorization boundary, but not the whole thing. Or would it be the whole thing?
I would think it'd be the whole thing.
I don't know.
The threat landscape can be internal or external. So it can come from anywhere. And at least that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. All right, I gotta look that. Okay, you know what? So I'm doing here.
Well, by the way, swap space can be a dedicated swap partition.
We use 3 words together that I know what they mean separately.
Yeah.
But like that, I don't know
Swap
what you're talking
file
about.
or a combination of swap partitions and swap files.
Can you give me a metaphor, keep it techie? What is a swap space?
In Linux, swap space in Linux is used when the amount of physical memory or RAM is full. If the system needs more memory resources and RAM is full, inactive pages in memory are moved to the swap space. It almost sounds like defragmentation and optimization of stuff that you may have gotten rid of in order to get more space. Boundary where your classification data flows through your system.
Is that what you mean, authorization boundary? Your classification data flows through the system.
That was probably.
This makes me think about topology again, even though that may not be.
3?
Yeah, I just started this. Yeah,
we're gonna get to the questions and stuff.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand this stuff. I told you before. Answer the question.
Prepare organization.
So for the prepare stage, these are the roles involved. Okay. So you got the head. A bunch of top people are involved in the prepare stage. Okay. A lot of executives, senior officers. You see all that? CIO. So that's what's her name again? The Lannisters, the brother and sister here.
Yeah.
And this is nephew and auntie. Mm-hmm. These are the head you know, the HNICs, right?
She would be more than that.
Well, he's not really, not until the end of the movie, but he was in that family because his father was on the throne, right?
Yeah, he was like a bastard child.
Yeah, he was an outcast. He was an outcast. Yeah, he was like the CIO of the organization, right? Yeah. He's a CIO. Okay, he's the little person who don't nobody like. But he's very knowledgeable. A lot of wisdom. But they ignore him. He's a CIO. Oh, okay. What does that mean? Professor, I'm gonna have you up on this stream, okay? Because you speaking in riddles. Swap space is partition. I've heard of partition. You can create on your hard drive in case the real RAM runs out of space.
That's exactly what I read. I don't know if you heard me, but I read that. What he said, I read.
The partition you can create on your hard drive in case the real RAM runs out of space.
The memory is full. The system needs more memory resources and the RAM is full. Inactive pages memory can be used for swap space. Space can be dedicated swap partition recommended. Swap file or combination swap partitions or swap.
I got it. He used fewer words.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to do it, let's do it.
I do want to do it.
Okay.
All right. So this is the organization level rules. Prepare. All right. Now, when you go to the document, let me show you. I should have just left it over here and minimize it or something, right?
Basically.
But let me show you though, because you got to understand what I did here. So if you go to prepare.
Oh
shoot! I told.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like a disease.
Prepare right here.
Role and responsibilities. And there's some step facts.
So this is what you got, okay, for the prepare.
This is what I
These are the roles.
My RMF guy that I hired.
Did you?
A while ago.
These are, look at the responsibilities though.
Yeah.
I've been reading for days, you know, and this is just a prepare phase. Who gonna remember all that stuff? Okay, so I'm
that's why you have the table.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I mean, that's a lot of information.
To remember.
Not just do it. Like I need to, you know how I put ready, set, go?
Yeah.
That's what I need. I need a ready, you know, something quick. Like, okay, I got it. That's what that's what this phase is for.
For you, it's gonna be like ready, set, read.
No. And these are the roles at the prepare system level. So this is the organization level.
I've seen this.
And this is the system level. This is a great thing, you know. Now, some of these roles we did not go over in the CAP.
It seems like when you finish this the packet's going to be serious and big.
Oh, man.
It's going to be within a system. I forgot the name of the two software. Maybe he knows that you use. But there's software that
state and federal laws flow into the prepare stage. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, keep it techy. Let's say you have 100 Google website tabs open and you max out your physical RAM. Your system will start to write memory data to the swap partitions. Just an example. Okay. Okay.
You can keep up with the reading stuff. Include them.
We're studying. Y'all understand, right? I'm studying.
All right. Agency head, CIO, mission owner, risk.
So I did a Wordle and I took out the action words instead of all that stuff. So this is what they do. Okay. Control, ensure, provide, publish, develop, review, designate, identify, assess, consider, coordinate, okay, prioritize, approve. You see?
Who is they? For the prepare
These
stage?
people.
Yeah.
You see that big old long thing about all the responsibilities?
Yeah.
These are the responsibilities.
That's how you manage. Categorize.
Yeah.
They do all that stuff.
So what I did, I took all that data and I put it in a word cloud. And I just I put in so mostly the action words, yes, for what their responsibilities are. Instead of the big long, you know, I've been reading forever. So this helps me get a quick snapshot. Okay.
So you see in those words
at the organizational level, this is what's happening. That's what they do.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it.
See, but it's a lot. It's approve.
Yeah.
Review.
Stuff.
Right. Provide, ensure, control, yeah, so that kind of stuff. So now the system level, these are the people, the enterprise architect, information owner, mission owner, all those people, okay? They're not the king, they're not on the throne, but that's his daughters, the kings. So they're still up there, but they're not, making the decisions, I think. So now their responsibilities, which was also a long list of, stuff, is here. This is what they do: coordinate, identify, assist, conduct, define. All right. So a tier below the head of the agency, the CIO, and all those folks are these people doing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different. So some of the words here you don't see here. You do see coordinate in both of them, but you don't see like control. And the way a word will work, the more often the word appears, the bigger it is. Okay. So these are the primary thing according to the, what they had in the responsibilities. The bigger the word is, the more it appears. So, that's what they do: ensure, provide, control, coordinate, all that stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Now here, the big words are coordinate, protection, identify, define, conduct, assist, determine.
Some of the words are similar to others.
Some are similar. I mean, they're just one level beneath.
Right.
Organizational and system
so that's
level.
Between system level and what level? What was one?
Organization. Now this person right here.
Yeah.
This person right here.
System level is
does
making
a lot of
technology
stuff.
decisions, risk understanding for the board.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a good way to put it. System level is making technology decisions, not management decisions.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to write that down. These folks are management decisions.
Technology supports management decisions.
Which goes with the three kinds of controls. You got the management, the technical, right? So these are the management decisions. The other one is the technical controls, technical decisions. Right. And that one. All right. Okay. That's all I have for now. That's as far as I got.
Okay.
To the prepare stage.
Oh, okay. So you talked about, summarize it. You talked about, can I see the world again at the top? All right. What about the different controls?
So what I talked about was what a control is. Okay, a control is a constraint that's put in place to guide or influence behavior in some kind of way.
This is the epiphany.
That's because the NIST definition is a control is a control. Okay.
Okay.
A control is a management technical operational control. That's the way they define it, whatever.
Okay.
But just to better understand it, because I don't believe in defining words with the same word.
So select, implement, assess, monitor. SIAM.
Wait, hold on a second.
Okay.
I did the controls first because those occur most often in the will.
Mm-hmm.
Then I talked about system because authorized system and categorized system are those. So what is a system? Okay. So we talked about that. I have my definition, of course, but a system is basically hardware and software and people. Can't forget the people. The people are in there too. Okay. Yeah. So and then we went to the prepare.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's start here.
To memorize myself, the way you did it. So something like SIAM controls, select, implement, assess, monitor the controls, and of course,
you can do a
CNA was always.
You can do a sausage
that was always certification and accreditation, but now it's categorized, Authorize the system.
Look at what Professor Blackoff said. System owners, most of the time, is a business leader who owns the classification data.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying classification data? Are you just talking about just whatever the data is in the system? Classification sounds like classified, though. Is that what that means? Yeah, so I need to get into more detail about, okay, so I'm at the prepare phase. So now what I'm going to do is do the same thing I did with the prepare, but through all of these, plus I need to map. So in the prepare slide, I have at the top, because again, I'm getting the data from here, I have the publication, which I need to give a lot of attention to, because that's, I don't have a good memory. So I need to somehow be able to associate this with the right thing, okay? Mm-hmm. But what I'm thinking, I like what you said though.
Do nothing, buy insurance, stop using technology. All right, that's just something you like. That's the rarity. What was that?
Yeah. Remembering this, can we do a sausage pizza type thing?
Yeah.
Don't eat sausage pizza, or whatever the hell that shit.
CSIAM.
So
CSIAAM. And don't forget the P in the beginning. Prepare CSIAM.
So what can C stand for?
Camera.
No.
Oh,
like remember the planets? My very eager mother, you know.
I understand. We're talking about risk.
What about can someone in Alabama ask mom or ask me?
It works.
Can someone in Alabama ask me? Categorize, select, implement, assess, authorize, monitor.
Don't forget prepare.
Okay. And prepare. I know prepare is in the middle.
So
actually, CAP doesn't have prepare. CAP has something else.
Put P at the beginning and say, please, can somebody.
Oh, look at you. Please, can someone in Alabama ask mom?
Okay.
Y'all got that? Professor Black Ops, for your students who are learning risk management. That's going to be the, what do you call that?
I would have said it.
What do you call it when you do that?
Just like the OSI model.
Yeah. The thing is going to be, please, can someone in Alabama ask mom? Okay. So they remember the first letters. I want to say onomatopoeia.
It's like something anonymous or something. This one time. Google it.
What would I Google?
What is it? All sausage pizza. What is the thing?
I don't know. I know for the planets, it's my very eager mother.
Data link. Network.
My very eager mother just served us pizza. I know, just served us my very eager mother. Nasty pizza.
What's this?
For the planets.
We ain't talking about planets. Come on here.
I'm trying to find out what this is. I don't know what it's called. Mnemonics. Mnemonic.
I was saying mnemonic.
Yeah, so Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. My very ethnic mother just served us nachos. Oh my God. Okay. All right, so there. So now, so the prepare phase is the ready, set, go. You engage the organizational level leadership, which make the management decisions. Okay, regarding what's going to happen, so that the risk, so that the framework can be implemented. And then, so you have the organizational level, and at the prepare, and then you have the system level people who include the system owner, The architect, the system architect, or is it the enterprise architect? What do you call that person?
What?
These people. The enterprise architect. Yes, information owner, mission owner, system owner. This system owner is involved in like almost every single step in this wheel. Like they have a lot of say in this whole thing, right?
Throw this out.
It's drawn out right here.
No,
I did in my notes. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yep, I'm going to add to this wheel so that by the time we get to the end, it's going to look different.
I don't know how long this takes, but I think it's a long time, like 6 months to a year or something like that, to do an RMF for a system.
Oh yeah, so he said it can take up to. He said the one that he's done has taken up to 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
that's the longest.
That's the longest one he's been involved in.
The shortest.
But he said some of them can be fast, like 6 months. It just depends on different things. Professor, do you want to come on the stream? Because I feel like I need to ask you questions. Do you want to come up here?
Indiana? You mean do it online, right?
No, here.
You're not helping me out. He's in Indiana. You want him to fly out here?
No, I want him to come up here on the.
I said on Zoom, then you can share screens on him.
Oh, this is StreamYard.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
But you know what? StreamYard was being a real jerk the other night because I could not share the link in the chat.
So he can for a little.
But other people could. Let me see if it lets me do it tonight. It did.
Yeah, it was just a bad night.
It had to be. There's the link, Professor. Go ahead and because we need to ask you some real-time questions. That we have a real risk person here. And what you just said is super interesting. For AWS, for the RMF model. So RMF in the cloud, is that what it is? Notional technology solution in the cloud. I definitely want to hear more about that. Hello?
Hello. You hear me?
Hey. Can you hear me okay? You're a little low. Let me see.
Let me pump it up. I need to probably stop my video in the background so I won't be double. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you for coming up and thank you for being in the chat, man. You're saying some awesome stuff. We need to
No
talk
problem.
to you like, yeah.
I do this for I do the NIST 853 for a living. The reason I usually say classification data is usually when you're doing this for organization. I do it for the IRS. I do it for the HIPAA. So they do the prepare for you. They say you're on a HIPAA system. These are the controls for this HIPAA system. You need to implement for us so you can take HIPAA data so the government can pay you for it. I do it for the IRS. That's my full-time job. I don't tell a lot of people that. But so the IRS says to do an IRS system, like you said, to prepare, they said these are the controls you need to do. Right. And some of them are, they call critical, meaning you have to do them. Some are significant that you can do a mitigated control saying, I can't do this control, but I got this other control I think covers me for it. Then you submit that from him. Then the last phase is they come and authorize your system to make sure everything you did, they accept. Right. So some controls, that's why when he said poems, so if we can't do it, like we needed to do encryption, it was $100,000. So we put a poem and said, we're going to do it next year. They accepted it, but the following year they said, did you get that completed? Right? Because that's why I keep saying money's not infinite. Right? Because if I got a $5 million system, I'm not going to put $10 million worth of security on a $5 million system. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's kind of where that comes in.
All right. So are you involved in all of these steps? Or
yes,
do you implement the
yes
controls
and no.
and stuff?
Yes and no. Since I do compliance and I have a big IT background, I go tell the Linux administrator, like, keep it techie. These are the checks from the CI's check, and they tell you specifically what to put on that Linux box
Okay.
be able to authorize that system. So I give the checks to those guys, and I make sure those guys do it. And if there's a check that can't do, then like we said, I work with them and say, okay, can we do a mitigated control? Can we assume it? Do we need to do a poem? So it depends on the level of severity of that check. They usually go high, medium, and low. So if it's a medium, like I said, you can discuss it. Okay, you can do this mitigate. If it's a high, they really want you to implement it as it is.
As it is,
right?
Yep.
Right. So the system owner, he's basically a management guy that says, "Hi, Tyre, come explain that risk to me, so I know what I'm accepting." Because if we get hacked, the IRS gonna come to him because he's the owner of that classification of data. So if it's IRS data, I got to explain to him, this is what the IRS expects from us. If we can't do this, boss, this is the risk of us getting hacked. Are you willing to accept that? Because if we get hacked, we're going to get fined. So the system owner's got to be willing to accept that risk, right? So he really, a lot of those guys really don't understand systems. We got to come and explain it. Okay, we put on these things. We got a VPN, but we don't have something on the back end that the IRS said needs. So the risk of getting us hacked is low, but if we get hacked in this IRS data, it's going to cost us a lot of money. So the impact of that is going to be high. So those are the things we talk with the system on. And I always say legal because each state now says if you get hacked, you got to report to the state general attorneys because they're trying to protect the constituents of that state. So if we get hacked, we got to go to the AG and say, we lost 1,000 SSNs. So they want you to report it to the people in that city or state. So that's why I say you always got to have legal in the room because they got to look that stuff up. Because now every state's got breach notifications in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I always say you got to have legal in the room. That's the weird thing. I talk to lawyers like every day now.
Right. Okay. Now, where is that? Is that in the prepare stage or is that
That's in the prepare stage. If you go to NIST 800-53, they have, but in the prepare stage, they got flowed into state regulations, federal regulations, laws, and statutes. I don't know why they're not showing in the RMF, but the part you really dealing with is the 853 part. So that's really what you're drilling down to. And in there, they show the state, legal, and federal laws that flows in the prepare. Because you got to prepare for that. If the state wants you to do something more restrictive than that oversight agency, you might have to do something different for the state. Even though HIPAA's saying they want you to do this, the state's saying, hey, we want more security. Like California is real big on GDPR. So they're like, it's like, so they're super big. Like, but Indiana, we kind of relax. So that's why I'm saying you need to get that state regulation. So you know, if you need something tighter than what the agency's asking you to do.
Okay. So what's the paperwork like?
It's humongous. It's about, seriously, because and I'm actually going to do a video. If you go to FedRAMP, SSP, Assistant Security Documents, going to be 600 or 700 pages.
Oh my God!
Because you're talking about, because if you look at this, I think the new R5 actually, I think I was looking at, has 22 families, so you have 22 policies. Our policies are at least 8 pages. Then they want you to do procedures for that. Then you got to do a systemication document. Then where you got audit A1, you got to explain to me how you auditing that system. 2, how you doing authorization, how you doing encryption. So they got the template out there. The template alone is probably 150 pages blank with nothing in it.
Oh my goodness. So are you doing, tell me what you're doing with AWS, and is that automated in some kind of way? So you ain't got to do all that stuff?
Well, and I'm gonna show that on my thing is, it's split in 2. AWS says we're responsible for your hardware, right? So we got your networking. We'll spin up some VMs. We give you the networking VLANs, but you have to configure. So they say that we're responsible of, and me as a client, we're responsible on. So we got to configure to make sure it's appropriate for that agency, that oversight agency. Like HIPAA wants something different than PCI, which is credit cards, which is something different from OSHA. So so that's what I'm saying. They give you the prepare part and they say, okay, we want a 3-tier network, right? We want you to log 7 years of data. Like the IRS, we got to keep 7 years of logs, right? So that's what I'm saying. They tell you how to prepare it, and you have to set that up for AWS. Because everybody's going to cloud because it's cheaper. Because nobody wants to keep their hardware, buy hardware, and keep it on site.
Yeah, I think we have in government they have the cloud first, don't they? Like you can't even buy anymore.
No, they want you go to a FedRAMP government cloud. So you only in that data region with other government agencies. So everybody in that cloud has some type of security it has to implement from a government agency, because that government agency has to invite you as a business to come to the government cloud. You just can't spin up in the government cloud. So OSHA's got to invite you, the IRS got to invite you, or a government agency has to invite you to the government cloud.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So there's a commercial cloud and there's a government cloud.
Yeah.
So if you're in the government cloud, they have to invite you.
Yeah, and they have some specific, like AWS and Microsoft, they have these locations where they're dedicated.
And they all have to be in the continental US. You can't have any foreigners looking at those boxes or looking at your data. So that's one reason I stay in the federal space, because you can't outsource it.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this video you're doing on AWS?
Kind of like what you're doing. I'm doing the NIST. Well, I'm going down a level. I'm taking the NIST families. Like if you look at the NIST family, it's 22. So I'm going through each one of those families, auditing integration. Then I'm showing in AWS how you would set that up to comply with OSHA or the IRS. Then I'm going down, like you were talking about, like Keep It Techie. I sent him, I think, 200 checks for Amazon Linux box, so we can see what those security checks look like. So on there, I showed you when you go audit how you actually set that up on a AWS MySQL service that they provide, how you actually set the audit up, how you would go, me as compliance would check that off, and how that would roll back up to your NIST AU1, and you could say, I checked that off from my NIST documentation. So that part is NIST compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So how to actually, I call it down from 30,000 feet is the NIST documentation, and I call it the STIGs to tell you exactly what you need to implement on that particular device. So so I call it how the rubber meets the road and how you would configure that in AWS.
Mm-hmm. How long you been doing this?
Real security for about 15 years. I used to work for the Department of Defense for 11 years. And I worked for the IRS for the state of Indiana for 8 years. They keep trying to hire me, but they can't pay me enough. So.
They can't pay you.
I eat well. So, like, nah, I'm going to go do something. I'm probably going to go work for AWS. That might be my next friend of mine just went there. So I'm the compliance guy. So I sit in the middle of all of that. So the IRS comes in with Deloitte and too. So, they come in, they look at all our policies and procedures. I got to work with our technical staff, programming, enterprise architect, legal. And so I'm kind of like the expert with the IRS, what they want from a technology standpoint and compliance, and what do we need to cut on that specific device to make sure we pass their audit.
So, did you have a question? You had something.
I did, but
So I'm curious about this zero architecture. How does that influence what the risk framework is and the controls? How does that influence the controls, really?
Well, I think everybody from a zero architect, like from a lot of times you start zero architect, you start with the firewall. There's no ports or protocols open. You have to put in a request saying to open this specific port to this specific box for this particular application, because we don't trust anybody. So Oracle, I'm an Oracle guy. I did Oracle for 25 years. So Oracle usually runs on port 1529, right? It's on a 3-tier architecture: web server, app server, database. The app server is the only one who can talk to that database. So the hackers, you got to hack the web server, get to the app server, then get to the database, right? So those are 3 tiers. So we don't trust all those tiers have firewalls in them. So you have to get a specific thing that's approved by management to get that port open, that box into that particular application. So we need to know everything running on that service from a port, service, and application standpoint. So we have to trust them, right? In the old days, you would just open them up and you could get in. We don't even let anything out. So we have to. So if we send in a file to a particular vendor, we need to know what box we send it to that vendor, what port they going up, so they can accept our port.
Mm-hmm.
So our box might be clustered, so we might have a few ports, but we're not just opening the whole firewall up. So we got to trust this box going to that port. And 2 is we do public and private keys, right? So we have to sign up. So these keys got to talk before we can send the file out. then that file is gonna be encrypted. So we're gonna have you a separate key. So even if you get the file, you need to have that private key so you can unencrypt that file. So you know you got the right file. So if you stole our file, you can open it up because we don't trust you. You don't have that key.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That asymmetrical private key.
Uh-huh.
So that's when they mean no trust. So you gotta have the keys for it, you gotta have the ports open, you got the keys for authentication. So we try to have 3 or 4 levels of security. We call it, if you look at it, call it security onion. So if you break one thing, it's usually like 4 layers to get to a certain point.
Gotcha. Yep. Wow. I had another question. I can't remember.
And the new thing on Zero Trust now is they actually want you to have, they call them a POW. So if you're actually doing, they call a POW is actually a privileged access workstation. So if you're an admin like Keep It Techie, and when you do your regular work, you do that on a separate laptop than you do your administration work. So we actually had people carrying 2 laptops for a while. I'm like, dude, we getting a little crazy with this. Because they feel like if you're doing your regular work, looking at email, you probably get a virus on there. And when you switch over to do your admin work, that virus will jump on the system. So when you're on your admin system, you can't get to the internet and you can't do email. They call it the OOB. The only thing you can do is a VM to that particular box and do your admin work. We don't want you moving files. We don't want you doing anything. Zero trust, because we don't trust anything on that box but admin work.
I don't trust nobody.
Right.
Wow. Gabe said, oh, thanks, Keep It Techie. That's awesome.
So yeah, so Keep It Techie got me motivated. So I'm gonna get my channel up. I've been kind of lax on
you
it.
need to, dude. Come on now. You need to just open up all this knowledge. Come on now.
Yeah, Keep It Techie, you know. You're supposed to interview me in a little while, so I'm gonna have to get my channel a little up before you interview me. So, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to, like you doing that, I'm trying to show people federal compliance where the rubber eat the road, where you talk about those CIS checks, and I call them STIGs. They're federal checks, what you got to apply on a box to get it to pass, right? Because when you say NIST, you at 20,000 feet, it said encrypt the database. What does that actually mean? Are you encrypting the table space? Are you encrypting the disk? Are you encrypting all the traffic? Are you encrypting the memory? You're talking about memory. Are you encrypting memory so if somebody dump it, they can steal it? So what are you? Those checks tell you specifically what to do on those boxes to make it secure. So you're not guessing. So that's why when he said, when your argument, y'all both can choose. So I believe if you do the STIGs or the CIS checks, you don't really need to worry about the red team part because CIS and NIST, they work with the private sector, ethical hacking guys to figure out the security, and they give you those checks. So I think Keep It Techie was surprised when I seen the Amazon checks. I think it was 250 checks they want you to put on that Linux box. So when I work with a lot of...
Where is that information?
I'll put them in the chat.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that.
So you can go in there. It's a website. You have to send them an email, but then they send you the check. They got everything out there from MySQL, Oracle, IIS, Apache, Windows Server 2016 is out there. I think we were doing that last week. So I'll put that in the box. So they tell you those specific checks. So that's why I said both of you are right. So I tell people, if you do these checks, then NIST and their professionals go out with the hackers and say, these are the things you need to set up. And the OWASP is kind of the programming. So they work with those guys to talk about cross-site scripting, SQL injection. So you have all those types. OWASP.
OWASP. Okay.
Yeah. They do more application development security. So NIST works with them to pull that into their overall security. Because the development checks, I think I just looked, there's 350 checks a developer needs to do to secure a box for a federal system. So our developers hate me. I'm like, dude, I need these done ASAP. And I need to see your validation test too. So don't be BSing me, man. We both gonna get in trouble if we get hacked.
Right. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm looking forward to getting that link. I definitely want to see that stuff because I want to incorporate a lot of that in here. Now, do you have any? What kind of credentials do you have?
It's funny, everybody asks me. I have a Security Plus. The weird thing is, I'm kind of bragging. I've been in the industry so long, people invite me to come work for them, so I haven't had to have any credentials. So
there you go, the experience. Yeah.
So it's funny. I need to get some because sometimes somebody's not going to know me and I'm going to need a job. The weird thing is, like I said, a good friend of mine just went to AWS and he's trying to get me to come there. Then another friend of mine, she just became the CIO for the city of Aurora in California. I told her, black people don't ski. I'm not coming to Colorado, but I told her, brother, she's cool. She white lady. We know each other, so I be joking with her. I said, brothers don't ski. I ain't trying to come to Colorado. I said, y'all ain't got no brothers there, but on the football team, I ain't coming. So she was actually asking me some HIPAA questions. I said, you know, you good. Okay. You can call me anytime. That's what I tell her, but I ain't coming to Colorado. So we talked some HIPAA stuff.
Nice. Yeah, this is great.
How did you get into this?
I just was lucky. I was at the Department of DOD. I was helping I was managing the app server and the web server team. DOD was getting insecurity about the 5th year I was there, and they actually bought a guy they called from DISA. That's their private cloud vendor they had. And we were actually paying soldiers, so they wanted to come and make sure we were secure. So since I was on a web team, the checks, I'm going to send you the link. They gave me those 400 checks to do for the web server and app server. And I just started doing them at that level from the technical side. And I got real good at it. So then they started sending me to other places to help other divisions in DOD. Then I went to the database team and I started helping them for the Orgo team. So I've actually done these checks on each layer. Everything probably except networking, I've actually applied. So that's kind of how I got it hands on. Then when she left, she went to she became the CIO for the Department of Revenue in Indiana. Once again, she invited me to come. So I was like, I come help you. You know what I need to make. So she was cool.
Nice.
So I've been a consultant there for 8 years, which is weird for a consultant. To have that long. So that's actually how I got in. So I got real experience.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. This has been really valuable. Thank you so much for coming up here and sharing.
That's kind of what I told. That's what I kind of told Keep It Tech. And my OG, so my job is to help people so they won't be stuck like I was. A lot of times you be the only black person, you just be out there. I've been in meetings. Nobody would help me at first till everybody got to know. Now people calling me for help. It's like, dude.
Right.
But it's all good.
Isn't it like that though?
It's all good.
All right, I'm looking for them links, Professor.
I'm looking them up right now. There it is, the org. There it is, the org. So somebody put them in the.
So Keep It Techie's interviewing me on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. You click on there, and if you look, you'll see all the technology on that side. Then if you look at the, if you scroll down to the left, you'll see CIS benchmarks and the CIS controls. You click on that, and in there to ask you, do you want a Linux, bots, web server, Oracle, and they'll show you the individual checks for those type. Docker's in there, Kubernetes is in there. So a lot of the technologies are in there for that particular one.
So that's where it's on the CISecurity.org.
Yeah, you look on it says Center for Internet Security, and that's actually so. If you look to the left when you scroll down, you'll see CIS benchmarks. Yeah. Development secure configuration guidance for hardness. So if you click on that, if you click on that, that shows it comes right up. I thought you had to put in there. So once you click on that, it shows operating system, service, software, cloud provider. If you scroll down, it shows you the Linux checks, Cassandra, Apache HTTP server, Tomcat. So when you click on there, it'll be a spreadsheet or a PDF, and it shows you every check you need to put on that box to make it be secure at that classification level. Did you see the checks when you clicked on it?
I'm trying to find out what to click on here.
Okay, if you scroll, I'll go back. You want it? So if you go to the left, scroll down, look to the left, you see CIS benchmarks, the first one.
Yeah, with the green, it says download.
Yeah, just click on that, and it's going to take you to. You're not going to download. And scroll down, and you'll see operating system server. Those are the individual checks. Once you download those will show you the individual checks. And I sent those to Keep It Tech. Like I said, I think it was 300 or 350 checks for the Amazon Linux, because I'm gonna start spinning up boxes in the cloud. I used to have boxes in my own house, but now I just spin up a VM. So I'm gonna start applying these checks to Amazon, like we were doing an actual federal system. You see,
We can use it at my job. They're starting to go to the cloud now.
Oh yeah, so you should tell them we need to do these checks to make sure you're secure. Because the cool thing is on those VMs a lot of times you can purchase GPOs for Windows and they automatically come stick at the CIS level. You can do CIS, NSA, or DISA-STIG, which is for FISMA. You can actually buy those GPOs and they're super cheap. They're like
What?
3 cents an hour to use or something crazy. So it ends up being like an extra $200 a month. I don't know how many VMs.
Amazon?
It's their bastardized version of Red Hat because they wanted to optimize it for the cloud.
Oh, so it's not their own. They didn't make their own distro. They just like
they did, but they forked it though. It's their own, but you fork it. They're not starting from scratch. So they forked it for Red Hat. Was the rumor? I'm not 100% sure, but they forked it. Then they optimized it for the cloud.
Nice. This is great. Yes. Thank you again for this. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So like I said, that's the kind of stuff I'm gonna put on my channel. Then I'm gonna go to each one of those checks on some of them. I just go over the highs because those are most critical of each one of those checks, and I'm gonna talk about them. Best way to implement them. And some of them you can't implement it because you'll break your system. So what do you need to do to get around that?
All right, I have one more question. So how long has it taken you to get a system approved from beginning to end?
It's the reason I pause is if you're doing a FISMA system for DoD, that's gonna especially from scratch, that's gonna take you a year. If you're doing something for like OSHA, IRS, they're kind of like at the second tier, so you can probably get something done probably in 5 to 6 months, because really what they want to see is you making progress. Because when you with the IRS, you're actually funding the state, so they really don't want to block you. They just want to make sure you're actively, like we're talking about risk. You understand risk, and you're making progress in these checks. So it just depends on what agency. That's why I say what oversight agency you're getting for. PCI for credit cards, they're pretty lenient because they want your money. So they just, as long as you pay them and as long as you're not doing anything too egregious. So just like I said, so each one of those, and 2 is high, medium, low. That's what the risk management framework. Now, if you're talking about air traffic control or hospital, right, that's life and death. That's high, right? So they're gonna treat that real different. If somebody steal your credit card, we're just gonna give you $100 for credit monitoring, right? That's really a low system. Right? So that's where that RMF. That's why I say oversight. That oversight agency usually does that for you. We know what this system is. We know what type of data is. You trying to come to us to get our work and do business with us. So we already quantified and did that risk management for you. The IRS is a medium system, right? So when you do the NIST checks, there's medium checks out there for you, right? You're doing radar, airplane, life or death, right? That's a high. We already done it for you. You don't need to guess. So you need to do these checks, right?
Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah.
I said this already. Can you explain to me what an overlay is? What does that mean?
Yeah, overlay system is kind of like we talked about it. The IRS, when they first come out, is going to say, these are the checks we want you to do. The overlay is, we can't do all these checks right, so we're going to customize them, right? So the overlay is, what do you do to customize them? What are your mitigating controls? What do you set? And you're going to overlay that onto your system, right? That's really the customization of your system, right? Because they said, these are the checks. You're like, I can't do all that, right? Because one of the checks is they didn't want you to work remote. They wanted you to drive into the data center to work on it. You're like, dude, we're in COVID. We're not driving into the data center. I'm not having $100 an hour guy drive 40 miles from his house just to do something he can do in a second. He's gonna quit, right? So we're like, we can't do that. They know that, so it's a cat too. So we're not doing that. But like your friend said, we're doing MFA, right? We got multi-factoring. We got CAT cards, so we got your special encrypted thing. So that's our compensated control. So we're not driving in, but we got MFA. We got the PAL. So we're only doing admin work on that box. We got FireEye that got 0-day attack control. It's got the intelligence, so it can look at malware, even if it's changed, just to guess if it's malware. So these are the compensating controls we got, so we don't have to drive in. So that's the overlay.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
What's the bare minimum control that we can use and get by?
Not the bare minimum.
Don't say bare minimum. Don't ever say bare minimum.
Yeah, I won't say that at work. But
what you want to say is what is the appropriate control for that risk at that cost, right? Which is AKA the bare minimum. Right?
Yeah. That's the politically correct.
Right. It's the appropriate control for the appropriate risk, right? Now we sound like we engage, right? We showing them we got organization control, we got the risk, we putting the dollar in it. We know what we doing, man. That's why you paying us. We doing it big. So that proper risk at the proper dollar amount.
Because that's exactly what we're doing. It was like 2 days ago we were in a meeting and that it wasn't phrased as good as how you said it. But that's
I've been in the game a long time. As a consultant, I got to phrase it right, man. I got to keep getting paid.
Yeah, that's right.
No. This proper risk for the proper dollar amount for the proper control. We got you, boss. That's what I always take my. We got you, boss. He always say, "I like how you said that, high taco. That's why you pay me, bro. That's why you pay me. That's why you pay me."
Just so you know, I call that Justin because they just thought, "Well, we just gonna do this."
I feel you. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. We call it baby steps, man. You got to get in the game. You just got to word it right. So when you talk to the IRS and the agency, that's what you like. This is the proper control, but we got the poem, we got the budget. Even if you don't have it, because you can always change your mind. If you say we got it in the poem, we investigating it, we got our management risk team looking at it. Even if you don't do it, it just sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Gotta make it sound.
You gotta make it sound. Because like we talked about, though, they want to know from a management theory what does that do. So they want to know management understands the risk of what they're doing in that overlay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what you got to explain to the system owner, right? He's not technical. He's just the business owner that owns that data. If it's IRS, PCI, right? So then he needs to know the type of classification. You got to tell him the risk he's accepting if he gets hacked.
So the system owner where you are is also the AO, the authorizing official?
No, that could be, well, it depends. In a big organization, those are two different people. So like for me, the system owner would be the head of our tax scanning area. So we buy new scanning software, right? So as it comes in, he's the system owner, right? So I'm explaining to him what he does, right? The information system owner for that a lot of time is our CISO, right? Okay. Because from information assistant owner means he understands the security of that system, right? The owner understands the classification, right? So my CISO makes sure he understands the risk of we got encryption on this box, we got firewalls, we got controls, or this vendor can't do this certain thing, right? So we're loosening our controls, right? So what are we doing to compensate that, right? So then as the system owner said, okay, I want to use this vendor or I don't, right? This vendor's cheap, but what are we giving up risk-wise, right? Mm-hmm. So he doesn't understand the technology part. He has the money to buy the system, right? And he's responsible for the system. But we got to understand, like we talked about, the risk, the overlay, what he's giving up, and what is he assuming if we can't do something, or why should we choose this vendor over this other vendor, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why a lot of times they're different.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is that the quickest one takes 6 months, and the longest one she's ever heard of took 3 years. I mean, how do you train someone to do this in a course? Because the course she took, the guy was phenomenal as far as his knowledge. Mm-hmm. But, it was a typical fire hose course where they tell you so much, you just like...
It was awful.
I don't know. That's what we talked about, and that's what I'm struggling with now, because they telling people, you can take this course and, get a fire hose and come on board. It's like, dude, I work with people been doing this for 25 years. We don't take new people. So you gotta, and that's why I tell my students, you gotta have an expertise to get on that team, to get on our team.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm the database. I do the database programming, the web server and the app server. Then we got a lady. She's good with VPN. So go ahead.
And that's the thing too, because we try to teach courses where as soon as you get there, you're doing what you need to do to build the final product. And I don't know how. I mean, this can be better. That's all Cheryl keeps talking about. This course can be better, but it needs to be done with someone such as yourself, someone who's done this.
Yeah, because I don't know what you just said. Like, you have to be good at a certain area. Like, you do databases, somebody else's VPNs. Like, that's the kind of insight I don't have, and like I wouldn't have. Okay.
Well, too is though I work with the head of compliance director. She's not really super technology. She's a black lady, so she works with the IRS and she handles all that paperwork. So when they come in and audit her, she does all the poems. When they come to us, you can have. I've seen sites that had my last deal. I think we had 4,000 findings. So she's got to take all those findings, look at the classification, high, medium, low, make sure the team's got them. So she just manages that whole process, right? Because we get reviewed every 3 years, and every year we got to send them a virtual review. So she just handles all that paperwork. So I work with her from a technology side, and I feed it to her. She asked me, she said, I don't have a good feeling about the network team. Hi, Tara, look at this for me. I go, yeah, they bullshit you. So I get on them, right? So she manages that whole process. So she has a high level understanding, but she's really a PM. So you can there's different layers of security that you can get into. Like Keep It Tech is a killer DBA and a killer Linux guy. So he does that for security, right? I do compliance, so I will work with Keep It Tech and say, hey, I need you to do these checks. If something breaks the system, we need to work together to figure out, like we talked about, are we accepting that? What's the mitigating control? What's the level of that? And what can we do at a decent price for that type of system, right? Mm-hmm. So I understand Linux. I don't think I'm good as Keep It Techie, but my job as a compliance guy to work with him and says, okay, if we can't do encryption at the TLS level, can we do disk encryption, right? So he said, oh, we can do disk encryption, that'll work, right? I said, okay, put in disk encryption, that's straight line. He can click a button pretty soon and get that set up, right? That would pass an IRS check, right? We can do this, but we can do that.
Nice.
Right. So that's kind of my play with those guys, working with the experts like Keep It Tech on Linux. I understand it at a deep enough level so I can have a conversation. He says, hi, Char, if I cut on TLS, that's going to break that. And I said, well, can we do disk encryption? Because I've seen that. Oh, yeah, I can do disk encryption easy. Boom, do this line, keep it encrypted, lock it down, make sure everyone's zero. I only need these 2 people and these 3 extra people in the group. So when the IRS come, we can say, we got a lockdown. The group can see it, these 3 people. So we got 5 people in it. We can prove who got in it. Make sure you log in it. So we have who touched it in the log so we can prove it. Boom, check it. Go to the next system.
Okay, would that be like an overlay, what you just said?
Yeah, that would be the overlay because we customized it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the customize them. That would be the overlay.
So so I really like this area. So right now I'm in policy. What would be a good way for me to get more involved in working with systems and compliance?
I would take the CISM once you get to another level. That's Certified Security Manager, and they're the one that kind of manages the whole audit process. If you're good, I would take maybe I think there's different levels of PMP. So if you get the project management with the CISM, then you can manage that project. Then like you would say, you would handle the overlay, right? So you would work with me and I would work with Techie, and we would actually report to you. Like I said, we roll it up. So she handles all that paperwork, the poems, the findings, who's fixing them, make sure they get sent to the right team. Like I said, I've been on projects, we have 4,000 things we need to fix on the system. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's just a job of paperwork. We gotta have the SSP. So she handles all that she doesn't do it. She just makes sure it gets done, puts it in a loop. And if you get project management, because most project management really don't understand what we do.
Is she in on the conversations though that you're having to decide what kind of overlays you need to have?
Yeah, because a lot of times from a compliance standpoint, she wants to, and I always look for her, she wants to understand how I came up with that decision. She said, okay, you said we can't do this. how the hell you come up with the disk? I said, well, if you look at NIST 800-3, look in the supplemental, it says disk encryption okay. If you look at the IRS Pub 1075, it's like the CIS for the IRS, on page 35, I've read it like 100 times. Here it says you can use disk encryption. I don't think it's as secure as file encryption, but I think it would pass the compliance, right? So that's two separate things, right? Just because you check a box in compliance doesn't mean it's as secure as it can be.
Right.
So there's different level. Sometimes we say, okay, disk encryption is going to pass this compliance, but we want to do file level encryption. Because the first things your hacker is going to do is get on the disk. And if they get on the disk, they can read the file. So it's like, is disk encryption really good? No, but we passed the compliance check, right? So we got to figure out and get the right thing. So let's do this until we figure out how to get file encryption.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Keep It Tech is a database. We go SQL Server. It's called TDE. But when you save the data into a table, that disk block is encrypted. So if the person gets on the disk and steal that block, they don't have the key, so they couldn't read that block. So that's 2 layers of encryption. Where if I'm on a file, and encryption, if I get on that file and I steal that block, I can read it because I can read anything on that disk, right? So I want file level encryption, right? So that's the difference between a compliance check and really a security check, right? 2 different levels of things, right?
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Okay. I don't have anything else. I'm so happy that you're here.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Please hurry up and start your channel, okay?
I'm working. I'm getting it going. Like I said, Keep It Techie, so I've been rolling with him, and he said he was coming, so I said I'm coming. He coming. I'm coming. So he my man. I got him by a decade though, but he leading me through this. He leading me through this YouTube game. I'm trying to get a little better at. So, but let me know. I'm watching the game and talking, man. I can do this in my sleep. So
all right.
I'm watching the Lakers and listening to you. We at halftime, so I'm doing my whole winning.
Awesome.
I can do this all day. Okay, Lakers winning. Lakers winning. No, like I said, I do this in my sleep. So
yeah.
Especially because you're really at the 853 level, and that's kind of what I do for a living.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much again for being here. I really appreciate you.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, I was like, I got to get on because we typing too much. That's why I tell my boss.
I know, right?
I got to call you. I ain't typing. I'm old. I ain't doing all this typing. I ain't doing all this typing, man. I'm too old. But no, I think you got it. Like I said, it's just, like I said, I need to start studying because I'm going to study for the CISP. Like I said, I'm going to have to probably get a job and somebody ain't going to know me and they're going to ask me for some qualifications.
Right.
I'm like, trust me, I'm good.
I know.
But what I'm gonna do is I've worked with a lot of CIOs, CISOs around, so I'm gonna have them go on my LinkedIn page and at least give me a recommendation.
What's your name? Are you Professor Black Ops on LinkedIn?
No, my real name is John Hightower, so you can look me up on there. I don't really have much on there to be honest.
Come on now, John. Come on.
So I'm just when you've been in this game, I tell everybody I'm a recluse, man. I just kind of do my thing and go home.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again.
Hey, man. Should do that channel. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's coming. Go subscribe. I got about 3-4 things on it that's small. Like I said, I'm going to do my first NIST 800.
You already have one. Okay.
Yeah, I got a few. Like I said, I got some, I call them consumer stuff on there. I show somebody hacking a baby monitor, somebody hacking, talking about a pedophile hacking a baby monitor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is crazy.
All right, I'm gonna go over there and subscribe then.
Yeah, some small things. But yeah, I'm about to start doing this 800 and federal compliance. So that's what I'm gonna focus on. Because I don't really see anybody doing that and talking about, like you said, at this level and really drilling down to what those checks really look like on the box.
Yeah.
And two is I help a lot of minority companies try to get federal contracts, and they want you to have all that paperwork done if you're gonna bid on federal work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you again, and I'll see you here next time. And I'll also go subscribe to you, and put my alerts on for when you get on there.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Reach out if you need anything. Like I said, I'm usually rolling wherever Keep It Tech is. I'm usually rolling with him, so I'm usually on his live streams chiming in.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Have a good night.
Nice meeting you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.